Woohoo, we're live.
Yay!
Aloha, everyone. Welcome to Mermaid Nina Travels. I am Mermaid Nina, and I'm here with my new co-host.
What's up, everybody? It's Nick from Who Dat Travel. So I just got back just a couple days ago, and it was a trip. So this today is all about questions and answers, because I have had a lot of friends and people on Facebook and whatnot ask a lot of different questions because, well, there hasn't been a whole lot of people that have been there yet. So so that's what this is today. And please ask away when you have a question, and we will definitely try to answer. So
Exactly what Nick said. So if you guys are new to this, there is a chat on the side. Go ahead and type in your questions. But while everyone is thinking of questions or coming onto the program, Nick and I are going to do our usual start with an icebreaker. But just in case you're a little nervous about asking questions, I got 4 pages of questions that I got from viewers, that I got from fans, questions I have for myself, questions my clients are constantly asking me. So if you don't have any questions or you having a hard time thinking of one, believe me, I've got plenty. So I've broken the questions up into segments, like we'll talk about flights and parks and rides and go down the list. But feel free to type in your question and we will absolutely get that answered. But before we start, I would like to remind you guys to please subscribe to my channel and make sure you go to Who Dat Travel and subscribe to Nick as well, because since he just got back, he is going to be doing way too many videos about the reopening of Disney, and you are not going to want to miss that. So we thought we would do this Q&A so that he has a moment to go through his hundreds and thousands of videos and images and get that put together for you guys. So here it is. So think of your good and hard questions regarding the reopening of Disney World. But to get this thing started, we're doing our usual icebreaker. I came up with a question. Nick came up with a question. We don't know what they are. So who you want to go first, Nick?
I'll go first.
All right. What's your question?
I just got back, and
True.
I know you. Wait. You are. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna figure out which way is which. You are going to be going in just a couple weeks.
That's right.
Now, I know which ride I ran to first.
Oh, gosh.
What park are you going to first, number 1? Number 2, what ride will you go to first and why?
All right. Well, the answer to that, the truth to that, it's not really that exciting, because the first park we're going to is Epcot, because it's our arrival day. And Epcot's open the latest. Yeah. So we're just going to hit up Epcot. First thing we're going to do is Spaceship Earth, because A, it's the first ride. And B, it's supposed to get a makeover. And if that makeover actually happens, we want to, again, ride it for the last time before it gets remodeled. But if I skim around your question a little bit, the absolute first ride I really want to go on is Mickey and Minnie's Railway, because that is the one ride I haven't done yet, because it opened and then COVID, and that means Nina no ride. So
now I did get to go on it. I won't give anything away. The only thing I will say, it is very good. It is very, very good.
Well, while you're talking about it, and it is one of my questions, but how long was the wait for Mickey and Minnie?
Now, it was posted at 80 minutes.
Ooh.
I got through in 20.
Okay.
So they did now very much like Rise of Resistance.
Okay.
It does break down.
Yeah.
It is a new trackless system. It is, you've been on Rise of Resistance, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Mm-hmm.
You will probably like Minnie and Mickey then. It is very reminiscent. That's the only tidbit I will give, because I did not watch a single ride video. I didn't want to know anything about it. I wanted to experience it the first time on the ride.
Right.
Because we were there actually a week and a half before everything shut down. but the line was like 2 hours. And
I know. Opening day was obnoxious.
Oh, I saw it up to like 4 or 5 hours at one point on opening day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had little man with us, and I just can't ask little man to stand in a line for 2 hours. It just not gonna happen. So
right.
But yeah, it was really good. I will admit that freely.
Yay, I'm excited. I have watched a few videos, but not in full. I have watched enough to know what it was going to be like because I've got kids and I need to pre-warn them.
Yeah.
Hey, there's no drop. You're not going to die. You're not going to spin like you're on teacups. That's enough info for them to be like, okay, Mom.
Fair enough.
We're ready to go on that one. But otherwise, I need to know. Like Rise, I didn't fully watch the video for Rise, but I needed to know when the drop happened so that I could tell the kids. Happening
you're gonna drop. Now there is. I will give this away. There is a spot that I honestly thought there was going to be a drop.
Oh, okay.
There isn't, but I thought there was going to be. And you'll know it exactly when you get into it. But the ride, much like Rise of Resistance, is very, very immersive. It's fun. It's something that you've got to ride time and time again to really catch everything, because there are just tons of stuff.
That's how I feel about Rise. Like I've done it 3 times and I'm still like, I need to go on more because it's every little direction is something and each car spins differently. And I'm like, I know I missed something.
Well, each car spins differently, but there's actually in the AT-AT room, there's 2 different paths as well.
Right.
So, and you see way different things with that too. Right. So yeah, I've been on it 4 times, I think. So
okay. Well, we're going to talk about that because that's one of my questions is the boarding pass for that. So save that info.
I will.
Is that it? No. So you asked me.
I asked you. Yep.
Well, what's your answer? What was the first park or ride that you needed to do?
Now we went to Magic Kingdom. We went opening day of Magic Kingdom. And it was the quintessential, to me, Disney is Magic Kingdom. That's when I think of Disney, I think of the castle, I think of Main Street. That is quintessential Disney to me. So that was our first park, and that's what we had hoped for anyway.
Right.
Our first ride was one of my favorites, The Foolish Mortals.
Which is another one of my questions, so don't say anything else.
Okay. All right.
All right. I've got the questions, people, and that's on one of the questions. So, all right. So my icebreaker before we get into it, because I'm sure the viewers are like, please, guys.
Come on.
Quickly. If you could only purchase one souvenir.
Dole Whip.
No. Souvenir. You take it home. What is your go-to souvenir that you're like, every trip I got to get a magnet. I got to get a mug.
Honestly, mine's a free one. We do a celebrating button.
Okay. Every time?
Every time. Like this time we got, my wife's birthday was when we were down there. So she got that. But the one that we got this time was that we were celebrating the grand reopening.
Was it a special button or did you have to write grand reopening?
They wrote it on for us.
Okay.
And we did find out that there are some cast members that absolutely love to do it. We got one of those cast members. And so we had Mickey's all over it and it was fantastic. And they always, they'll tape it so it doesn't smudge. And so those are our souvenirs that we, usually we're celebrating something when we go down there.
Or make it up. My birthday was 2 months ago. I'm still celebrating.
No, we thought about getting Little Man a pin and we just didn't because his birthday was last month. But my wife's birthday was one of the days that we went.
Right.
So,
Awesome. Celebration pin. My go-to is, which is a problem.
My wife has a very similar problem, actually.
My husband just this evening, because they were laying out on the bed, because I filmed a video regarding, so they were all on the bed, and he comes home and he's like, are you going to stop buying these now? Because I think you have enough.
Strangely, I still encourage her. I don't know why. She
Hey,
actually,
Mickey girl. Nope, I
she's
can't
got
press the button.
a
Go ahead.
ton of them. Hey, Mickey girls.
Mickey girls, are you still there? Because they left Friday.
Okay.
You still there, girls? So they have all the they got some info too. I mean, I think my husband's fine with it. He's just like, but you never wear them, and that's because they give me a headache in the parks. So I wear them for pictures. I'll literally like put them in my backpack, and then when a picture's out, I'm like, I whip them out. But I wear them on all my videos, so they're not going.
Okay. Yeah. My wife wears them to the park. The only time that she really doesn't is the wind.
Oh.
So, yep. So
I get headaches, so I can't. And I did a video regarding that, so stay tuned.
so stay tuned.
All right. So
Mickey Girls got back yesterday.
Where do you see that? I don't see that.
If you go to your comments instead of private chat.
No, I'm in comments. Why did it pop up?
Yeah.
I must be on a delay. Of course. It's my channel and I'm on the delay. Well, apparently Mickey Girls' might come up. I'm going to comment in here. I'm just going to say hi and see if it's even working. Oh, it says I'm having trouble connecting. Please check my internet connection. Am I still on?
You're still fine on for me at least.
Oh, finally. Okay. Got back yesterday. Well, you can add to this, guys. Type it in if you have an opinion about my 4 pages of questions. All right. You guys ready? Woo, woo. All right.
ready.
So as I said, I broke them into like subjects or thoughts so that it's not just 4 pages of randomness. And the first question is flights. So did you fly down there?
I did fly down there. Now,
what airline did you take?
We took United, and I fly quite a bit just personally. I used to fly for business a lot. So my wife back before everything flew a lot for business, and that's the main carrier that goes to the spots that she goes. So, so we actually may have status on United. So yeah, we fly a lot.
Did your status affect anything, or did you?
No, it did actually. In the fact that I did get an upgrade, and on one of the upgrades I actually canceled, just because it was just going to be me. And normally, if I get an upgrade, my wife and my rule is if either one of us gets offered for an upgrade, we take it. But the rule is whoever takes it takes the little man too. So little man gets first class if either one of us gets to go up there.
No matter what, little man.
No matter what, he goes. So on this one, though, I declined it because I was going to be next to a stranger.
But why? I thought there was no next, because that's part of my questions is
on United. Right before we left, they actually opened that up. Yeah. However, they are going through, so that part kind of stunk. I'll admit that freely. However, the cleaning of the airplane, they are actually using an electrostatic charged solution, and they spray down the entire plane before you get on. They're also running no smell at all. And I'm asthmatic, so I am actually pretty sensitive to smells. I did not smell a single thing.
Okay, good.
No, they are requiring masks, of course.
Everyone had them on?
What's that?
Everyone had them on?
Everyone had them on. Not a single person had no mask on any of the flights. And I had my local airport to Chicago and then Chicago to MCO.
Okay.
And that was, both ways. Okay. So everyone had their masks on. No one complained about it. They actually, for a snack, they gave you a prepackaged little thing. And they weren't touching things that way. Also, when you got onto the plane, they gave you a little wet nap to, a sanitation thing to be able to wipe down your seat. They were actually boarding from the back to the front as well. Awesome. They do go through the normal, any military members, your 1K people, people with children, they go through those, and then they go from the back to the front of the plane.
Back to the front.
So boarding was a little different there. But overall, we felt pretty safe on the flights. I'm sure you probably have this question later, but I felt more safe at the parks than I did in the airplane. If we're gonna do a scale here, but even so, I did feel pretty good on the airplane, and I felt a little bit better after reading, at least on United, they are running their HEPA filters, which is 99.9% bacterial, at full blast from boarding till you get off the plane. And they used to be able to, metered that down during the flight. They're running them at full power the whole time. So they are trying to take care of the air in the plane too, which actually runs, they recirculates every 3 to 4 minutes. So they are trying to,
they're doing their best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I did feel pretty good on the planes.
Was it sold out crowded or just not empty middle seat crowded?
Just not empty middle seat. Now they did give you, United at least, again, gave you the availability, and I was getting text messages, hey, your flight's kind of full. If you want to take a different flight, you can rebook for free.
Oh, okay.
So they were giving you those options as well.
It's not letting me. Oh, good. I finally can post. Cool. That was, without me asking, you ran through. I had, what airline did you take? The middle seats crowded. Was it clean? Did you feel safe? Were there masks? You got that. So you ready to move on to Disney?
I'm always ready to move on to Disney.
All right. So my next category is rides. And I did ask about lines later. So this is just rides in general.
All right.
I know that most of the rides are open, but are there any rides that were not open outside of Hey Main Street?
Hi Main Street.
Any rides, not necessarily shows or attractions, but were there things that were not open that surprised you? Like what wasn't there?
The only thing that really wasn't there, People Mover, and actually People Mover is still down. It's been down for 10 days. That was closed. But other than that, pretty much everything was open. Even
like Festival of the Lion King, like shows?
The shows were closed.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. The shows were closed. Festival of the Lion King, Under the Sea was closed. So all of that was closed. But even like the Hall of Presidents was open. We did we had never done it before, actually. The Inside the American Pavilion, the show. We did that one. Basically, they're closing off every other row, and then they're also distancing you in the theaters. So they'll block off like 5 or 6 seats, and then they'll have like 4 or 5 seats, and they'll block off 6 seats, and then I mean,
is a cast member walking you through it and going, you sit here, okay, now don't sit here, now you sit, or is it already like X'd off?
It's already X'd off. They've got the amount of work it took Disney to go through and get ready for this,
I bet,
is astronomical.
I bet.
the plexiglass where they can't, like the Living with the Land, when you're real close to the getting on, they've got all those switchbacks. There's plexiglass that are created in holders up on the stanchions. So it actually, you can't, talk and spit or breathe on someone in the next lane over. It's that way in Mickey and Minnie. It's that way in so many rides. So it's not
that they reweaved you, they just put up shields.
They reweaved you and put up shields where they couldn't reweave you.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here, my wife's an engineer, so I'm looking at things kind of through her eyes as well, going, they had to fabricate all of this.
Right. They want people to come. They're doing everything they can to make it safe. They want all these videos to come out so that people are like, you know what? That sounds perfect to me.
I'm sure you have this somewhere, but the cast members, yeah, exactly. The cast members were amazing. Just amazing.
I didn't have that because I knew the answer.
They truly want you there. They want you safe. It was, yeah.
All right. So part of that, I know there's queue changes, and we're going to talk about the one I know you want to talk about is my next question. Were there any queue changes that negatively affected your trip, or just the one I want to talk about next?
Just the one you want to talk about, really, is really one of the very few that really detract.
Okay, so let's ask that question, so then you can talk about it. So I asked him, did any queues negatively affect his trip? And he's saying really only the one, which I knew. So what changes stood out for you? Because I know Haunted Mansion has changed.
Haunted Mansion has changed.
Okay.
Most of the other queues, now I didn't, and I will, in full honesty here, did not get to ride Rise of the Resistance. I had been on it many other times, so I tried to get a boarding pass because I do have a video. I do have a video on getting a boarding pass pre-COVID.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit later. But yeah, I wasn't a giant, I must do this, but I still did try type thing. Now, I do know that they do a walkthrough on that pre-show. And they also, when you're being in the transport, they are giving you specific spots to stand in the transport. Millennium Falcon, they are also doing a different one. You don't.
I heard no cards.
No cards. It's one person or one party per trip, which would have been really awkward for me because we have to do rider swap, which I'm guessing you probably have a question about rider swap in there, so I won't talk about it. But I would have literally been the only person on the Millennium Falcon, which, don't get me wrong, childhood dream. But when you need 6 people flying the Millennium Falcon, that would have been difficult and kind of weird.
Right. So for those of you who don't know, the Falcon, they're basically putting it on autopilot. So if you go in with, it's 6 seats. So if you go in with a family of 2 or 3 or 4, the other positions are just autopilot or taken care of. So as Nick's saying, if he went on as rider swap without his wife and son, he would get to sit in Chewie or Han's seat and everything else would just auto happen, right?
Yeah.
And then Haunted Mansion, specifically, the queue changed. And I know how it changed. Do you want to explain how it's different?
Sure. Now, what they did is they are walking you straight through the stretching room. It is in the down position, so you get to see all of the
everything stretched.
Yeah, everything is stretched out. Now at Disney World, if you're familiar with the stretching room, the ceiling actually goes up. Now Disneyland, you actually are in an elevator that goes down because you're going underneath the railroad tracks. So Disneyland, I don't know how they're going to do it. So
they've got many months to figure it out because they ain't opening anytime soon.
No. The thing to me though is I love the intro of Welcome Foolish Mortals.
Yeah, my daughter was
your ghost host, and they deleted that part. Every so often you hear Welcome Foolish Mortals, but it's every 2 minutes maybe. So you might hear it as you walk through and you may not. So that was depressing to me because it's my favorite part. Anytime I talk about the Haunted Mansion, I always have to say Foolish Mortals. So it's just part
of really been practicing.
No, never do it. So
okay, so did any rides or ride lines, and I know the answer, feel unsafe to you?
No. Okay. Absolutely not, actually. They, as we said previously, they did an amazing job trying to go through and make them safe. And the amount of engineering hours that it took to create some of this stuff was amazing.
Yeah, I wonder how long they've been working on that, but probably since the beginning. But you sort of answered this a little bit with the Falcon, but just to reiterate, what was the process about going on a ride, meaning one car, one boat, one vehicle per family? Was that all the rides, like Pirates of the Caribbean? Yes. Is that one family per boat? Small World?
No, they would socially distance you on that. So basically, the first row and the last row on the boats would get filled. But other than that, nope. There was always space in between you and the next person. The closest one that I think I had was actually Toy Story Mania.
Okay.
Because you're back to back.
Right.
But that's it. So that's the closest really you got, was back to back with someone.
Okay. So I'm obviously, if I'm coughing, it's not.
You're still, yeah. So yeah, that was the closest that we really were to anyone.
To anyone?
Yeah. I never really did I go, I don't know. And we were actually told by a cast member, if you felt unsafe or if you felt like you wanted just your own boat, ask.
Oh, well, that brings me to another question, because which I didn't even have down, so I'm adding a question. A lot of people, or a few people, were nervous about doing indoor rides versus outdoor rides. Obviously, indoor, if I'm coughing and sneezing, my stuff's going everywhere. Of course, I'm wearing my mask, so my stuff can't go anywhere. But did you feel weird doing indoor versus outdoor, or was it really like a non-issue?
Non-issue to me. Okay. Most, I would say, and you probably have this somewhere, but 90% of people were actually really good about the masks. The part that surprised me, the kids were actually better than the adults.
Got to give it to those kids every single time. Kids are always surprising me how mature they are over the whiny adults.
Yes, absolutely.
Just saying.
Hands down.
Social distancing markers. So I know there's social distancing dots and markers. Are they like all over the park, just the ride lines?
They're mainly in the ride lines or food lines as well. Okay. But for food lines, you are required to use your cell phone and use mobile order.
That's on here.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that then. But yeah, they are all over. And surprisingly, they really didn't detract. They're stuck on very well. I only saw 1 or 2 out of all 4 parks that were like scuffed up and moved. Okay. And my wife, being the engineer, is going, what kind of adhesive is on that? Because they also released those 1 or 2 that we saw off. They weren't leaving a residue. So it was at some point, I think they're hoping to be able to remove them. So
well, I think we're all hoping.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember, everyone, please ask your questions, and remember to subscribe not only to this channel but Nick's, because he will have all of his videos up eventually. So I'm taking a break from rides, and we're moving on to food. And I have 2 categories: table service versus quick service. Did you eat at any table service?
I did not. No, okay. My family generally doesn't eat at table service a lot, because we're a little man's 1-year-old. So table service is, kind of difficult. And 2, we are the type of park goers that we're on the move. Now, we did do every single area of the Food and Wine Fest. And little man actually ate probably about 70% of the stuff that we did. So I've got a video eventually that will come out about that. But that was our main thing that we like to do, is try different things. So
and I forgot to ask questions about Food and Wine. So
okay,
we're going to skip over table service since he didn't eat there. But what I wanted to know was, did you eat at any? What was it like? Could you keep your masks off the entire time? Were the waiters fully masked? I know the answers to these. The waiters would all be fully masked. And yes, you need to keep your mask on until you actually have food.
Now, we did eat at Disney Springs for a couple different meals. And now we went to Homecoming. We went to... Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we did go there. As soon as you sat down and had water, they would let you take your mask off.
Oh, well, then I am.
So, yeah, as soon as you had water or some drink, they let you take your mask off. We actually did go over to Margaritaville as well. The only thing that I really liked that they did there is they give you a bag for your mask. So that was nice. So you didn't have to like put it on there, shove it in your pocket or put it on the table.
I mean, can you imagine what people who aren't socially aware what they're doing with their masks.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's, at first when all this started, I didn't think about it either. But the more that this has gone on, the more I'm like, oh. Ugh.
Well,
Okay.
note to self when little man gets older, and hopefully this all goes away. I am currently teaching my kids how to take them off and fold them so that the side facing your face is folded and staying sanitary. And then we will be putting them either in our park bag or a Ziploc baggie. But we are in the process right now
of learning those things. Yep.
Because I've warned them it's not falling in the toilet, guys. So so food and wine, which I want to explain this. There's a lot of outside kiosks for food and wine, but then I saw a big indoor. So what was that?
This was the first time they ever had it.
Yes.
And it was 4 or 5, I think it was 4 kiosks basically inside this giant tent. That was wonderfully air conditioned, and there was a bathroom in it. It was great. And they had best of yeah, in a giant tent, basically.
Where was the tent? What country?
In between Great Britain and Canada.
Okay, so near the gateway.
Yep. And it was honestly, it was fantastic to go into. It was a great way to get out of the heat. Because it was, I think that day the real field temp was 106. Then when we were there, I mean, it was warm. And it was a great way to just get away. They had some kind of cool apple cider slush that was really quite good. It was supposed to be like an apple pie, kind of cool down. So that was nice. It was a nice spot to get little man a nap too. So.
Oh, I bet. Oh, cool. Mickey Girls is saying Blaze Pizza also gave you bags for your masks. So.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Danielle, for telling us that. So yeah, I was like, why is there an indoor tent for food and wine? I'm like, but that's exciting to me because
it was ginormous.
Love that. Okay. So quick service, you ate at quick service, or did you couldn't do food and wine entirely? You did go to other parks.
Well, yeah, we went to other parks too. So
one question that I keep wondering about. So typically at quick service, you can just go up and get free water.
You still can.
Explain.
Walk up, ask for, well, my always order is 4 cups of ice water. And there you go. Walk
up where? Are you allowed inside the restaurant?
Now if you can get one of my famous spots that I go to is the refreshment outpost there, where Africa should be if they would have ever actually put it in Epcot.
So a counter service, not a quick
counter service. Yeah. So counter service, you can just walk up. Now for places like the quick service, they sent you to other spots. Starlight in Magic Kingdom and Tomorrowland, they actually sent you over to the ice cream shop to get water. Yep. Okay. And then you just ordered how many cups of ice water you want, and there you go. Right. So they have additional locations now to serve water.
Good to know. Okay, so how about seating? Was there any indoor seating at quick service, like Pecos Bills, Cosmic Rays? Any of those places that would have
indoor? But very limited. They usually tried to do their outside a little bit more, but they did have it, and they were very, very diligent about the amount of people in not just the restaurants, but everywhere. If you went into a building, they had a person at each door. And that's one of the things that was kind of weird, is that you now have specific entrances and exits. And they are strict about it.
Gotta get used to that.
Yes, because I'm just used to let's walk in. Sir, you gotta go that way.
I got yelled at the store. I think it was Joanne Fabrics. It's in my video, although I didn't show the getting yelled at part. I didn't know there were arrows. Like you go down this aisle and you come back this aisle. Like I didn't know. I'm not being like rude. I'm just apparently dumb. And a lady was like, "Ma'am, you're going the wrong direction." And my mom was like, "There's a direction?" And the lady was like, "Yeah, you're standing on the arrow." And we're both like,
one of the major grocery stores around us has those too. But the line that I've heard and I may have used is, if you're going to have a direction, I need a passing lane.
well, and it would be nice if it was like eye level, because I'm not looking at the.
No, I don't look at the ground either. So it's like, and when I figure out that I'm going the wrong way, I like rush a little bit faster, like down the aisle. So yeah, I get that. But they won't let you in the wrong doors at Disney. So.
All right. Well, they got to do what they got to do. So if there was indoor seating, that means you can go inside. And the reason I ask this is I have food allergies, so I cannot do mobile order. I have to talk to a chef. So I'm especially nervous because I need to be able to go in, talk to a manager, ask for a chef. I can't just do it on my phone. So were you able, if there's indoor seating, then?
Yes. And what there are actually people positioned outside that you're supposed to be showing your phone that your food is ready. Those people that you can go and talk to, and they would allow you to be able to do that type of thing.
That was one of my questions. Score. Okay. So how about things like, I need another fork, I need some more ketchup?
Now that stuff we didn't run into a whole lot, but the forks, everything is kind of self-service type thing. They've got these new dispensers that limit touch. They actually have the handle of the utensil sticking out, and it's just one of them, and you just pull out that utensil and the next one pops out for you to grab just that utensil, and you never have to touch the actual unit.
Wow. So it's not the handle?
Nope. It's just you pull out each individual. Now the only problem I ran into with that was that they put spoons where the knives should have been.
Oh, well, cast member error.
Oops.
We're not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And that was out of the probably, I don't want to admit how many utensils I had grabbed. So
I get extra utensils, guys. Here's my tip. I grab extra utensils, keep them in my bag, because you never know when you need something and you go somewhere and there's no knife, fork, or spoon. I also take my kids' food that they don't eat. Parents, this is for you. And I pack Ziploc baggies. I pre-cut up their food and I put it in Ziploc baggies, because I'm telling you, 10 minutes later, guess who's hungry? And I'm not buying them more food. I give them the Ziploc baggie and the fork I took from the restaurant, and I eat your noodles in line. Mama trick. Okay, so how about seating? So I know we're at limited capacity, but you were there during opening week, which was probably one of the busiest weeks. Did you have a hard time finding a quick service seating?
Nope.
All right, score.
Yeah, it was fantastic, actually. Crowd levels were, it depends on the park, and I'll probably get into this, I'm guessing, a little bit later.
Right. Yes, but you can share. Go ahead.
Crowd levels were at Magic Kingdom. I have some amazing pictures of my little man with literally no one around.
They're super cute pictures.
It looks like the tumbleweed should be going through with little man there. I mean, and this, I'm talking in front of the castle.
Everyone
next to the Friends statue, and there's 0 people around. It was unreal.
And he's not the only one, guys. It's many people have been getting these phenomenal pictures. So
it was weird. It was like I had a VIP trip and I was like the only one at the park. It was amazing.
Which is $700 per hour with a 6-hour minimum.
Yeah.
VIP, just telling you the price.
So the only park that I didn't feel that way at was Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios, because you have 2 of the brand new rides, 2 of the most sought after rides right now. That was, hold on, packed, but packed for
25%.
Right. Not in comparison to what I've seen or dealt with on, a normal capacity. But there were bottlenecks in certain areas that were a little hard to social distance. Going to Batu, you're bottlenecked down.
It's kind of narrow.
Yeah. So that was a little bit difficult there. There was actually a line for the shops. You know how you have the bathrooms, and then there's that kind of line of shops in Batu, and then you go to Ronto Roasters.
Yes.
They were limiting the amount of people that were in that area as well.
That's one of my questions.
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to get to Ronto Roasters because it's, 11 o'clock or whatever. I think we got there just after 10. I didn't eat breakfast. I'm trying to get to Ronto Roasters, and I'm just used to walking through. And they're like, "Sir, you can't go." I'm like, but Ronto Roaster, but my food's ready. So,
but I'm hungry.
And look at the size of me. You don't want to mess with the guy with the food.
That was one of my questions, but I was specifically wondering about Batu because for those of you who haven't been there, it's kind of like a narrow little space, and the shops are super tiny because they chose, rather than having one giant shop, they had several different little shops that specialize in little things, and you kind of have to go through every shop, and there's barely enough room for 5 people to be in a shop, let alone social distance while you're in there.
Yeah, so they really limited the amount of people that could go through. It was nice. But there's at times there was a line of 20 or 30 people, which looks ginormous because you're 6 feet apart.
Right. I just realized how long we've been on air, and I still have 3 more pages. So
we better get going.
We better speed it up. Okay, so real quick, just like yes or no, kind of whatever.
Okay.
I know some of the quick services and counter services and whatever services have had limited menus. Did that affect you? Did you notice like a favorite item being gone and you were upset?
I didn't notice that. The only thing I noticed, there are very few restaurants that are really open.
Right. Okay.
So you really only had 4 or 5 restaurants. Now, we didn't go to Pecos Bills. That was one of my kind of favorite ones to go to because we didn't know how the topping bar was going to be.
I don't think there probably is one.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, so we just kind of avoided it.
I'm assuming on the app there would be a spot to just say extra pickles, extra. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't look, so that was the one that I'm like, I really kind of should have, but we just didn't. We chose not to eat there.
Okay. All right. So lines in general, and maybe you can just kind of skim through these because we kind of already talked about it a little bit. Lines in general, shorter, longer. I think we know the answer. Which rides had obnoxiously crazy lines, which I know was probably Mickey and Minnie.
Mickey and Minnie was about the only one that was just, well, I can't say that. Tower of Terror actually had a 45-minute line. I think the issue is right before we got there, they said, all right, we're going to do the boarding pass thing. So that actually took a ton of people that should have been in line, and they're no longer in line. And so now they're at every other place in line. So, I mean, the day that we were, we actually went to, we only went once to Hollywood Studios. But there was on average a 60 to 90 minute wait time for Mickey and Minnie. There was normally a 45-minute line for Tower of Terror. So it was about 35 minutes to 45 minutes for Rock and Roller Coaster. So, I mean,
how about the mountains at Magic Kingdom?
Pretty much walk on. The only one that wasn't is Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain usually had about a 35-minute wait, but that was running probably about 20 minutes.
And that's because of the makeover, which is also sort of on here. Okay, so then I asked lines in general, shorter, longer, which were crazy. You answered which were longest, which blah, blah, blah. We asked what we did do first as the icebreaker. Rise of the Resistance, he did not go. He did not get a boarding group.
They're going within a minute.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm like,
within seconds. It is, I would say, probably more difficult. Now, I've gone 4 times. I was able to get 4 passes. I ranged anywhere from boarding group like 90 to boarding group 10. And I wasn't able to get a boarding pass this time.
So you did try for it.
I did try for it. But I started at like 101 and they're already gone.
They're already gone. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm hoping. Okay, lines. Did you feel safe? You already answered that. Overall safety. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. It's on here. Someone told me, it was a cast member, told me there's an announcement that goes on over the loudspeaker reminding
every
people.
10 minutes.
Was that odd? Because that's not normal.
A little bit. You got really used to it. You know, it's kind of like walking into Menards, which is a hardware stores, and you hear you save big money is at Menards all the time. You get used to it. But it's the Disney, you know, the voice of Disney
At
that's
least it's
saying
Disney voice.
that saying, you know, please keep your social distance, or your, they don't call it social distance. They call it physical distance. You know, please keep your physical distance. Please wear your mask at all times. Now, I was there. This may be on your list, but I was there when they changed the rules about being able to walk around with your and eat or drink. Now, I say eat because I watched people grab suckers to try to circumvent. I'm eating because I'm having a sucker.
I'm having a
cast member went,
long sucker.
Exactly. The cast member went, no, sorry. And people were getting the largest coffee they could to walk around. But, you know, most people overall were fantastic about wearing their masks.
That's good. Real quick, Mickey girls, did you end up getting on with your backup? Let me know. So that's on here. Were people doing good? You said kids were the best.
Kids were amazing.
Cast members constantly reminding people, or was that not really necessary because you had the loudspeaker?
I almost wish they were reminding people more, but I think now the fact that you have to be stationary to be able to eat or drink, I think that might reduce some of it. Disney Springs, I saw it a lot more, actually, that people not wearing their masks. Yay!
They did. Score, ladies.
Disney Springs, I saw a lot more people forgetting what you really should do, you know, taking a phone call and having your mask down, you know, that kind of thing, but not at the park itself. People were generally really good about it at the parks.
That's good. How about sanitizer? So I know sanitizer is everywhere, before rides, after rides. What? Hold on.
Wow.
You had to ride 2 hours after the park closed?
No, before the park closed.
Oh, before the park
so
closed.
They hit the backup groups pretty early.
That's good. Good for you guys. So I know there's there's sanitizer everywhere, before rides, after rides, hand washing stations. What I want to know is, did you feel the need to have your own sanitizer or to wipe or clean your hands at points where there was no sanitizer?
No, not at the parks so much. The parks really had a ton of it. You know, sometimes it was out, but they were doing an amazing job at trying to, I would say maybe 10% of them were out type thing. But you watch people carrying jugs of this stuff around, refilling them. The only problem is that sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. So people would pull their hand and then you'd see this like puddle of sanitizer on the little tray. But overall, I mean, they did a fantastic job. We also talked to one of the cast members on the teacups, is actually where I learned about it. But they're spraying down every ride every 2 hours. And they actually, the reason it's not every time there's a rider is the stuff that they're using actually has a half-life of 2 hours. So it's actually functional for more than 2, but they're doing it every 2 hours. And you see them with basically the pump sprayers, big spray bottle that you would use to like spray weed killer. Yeah, or fertilizer. They've got these and they're just hosing them down. And you do end up with a little bit of a line because they are cleaning the ride. And you'll watch actually times on, all of a sudden they'll just spike. It'll go from 5 minutes to like 35 minutes. It's because they've shut the ride down, and it takes them about 15 minutes for like Spaceship Earth. But they are, and Haunted Mansion, because what they're doing is they're spraying down every one of them, and then they let it go around once because they're trying to have that dry and take effect. And then they let people back on.
And could you smell that?
Nope.
I wondered how they were going to do that, if they were going to do every other car or what. So that's cool.
No, they just every 2 hours they do it. And you know, it's they seemed to get faster as the week went on too. So
right. Well, you were there at opening, so they were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were there opening day through 8 days. So
Awesome. Remember, guys, I've seen a few more people enter in. Feel free to ask your questions. Nick was at opening. Be sure to subscribe to his channel and mine to get all of this great info. I've got 4 pages. I've got 2.5 left. So we're running through a little more quickly. Characters. So we all know there's no official Festival of the Fantasy big giant parades. And I know there's characters walking. It's on there. And I know there's characters walking around, but I wanted to know, were there any characters available for even social distancing pictures, like Cinderella in the background and you're just like photo bombing?
I saw characters that I have never seen in my 20 plus years of going to Disney.
Who did you see, Nick?
I got to see the stepsisters hanging out on the castle, talking to people, picking people out that were going underneath the castle, because the castle is actually open to go underneath, which I haven't seen that in probably 7 or 8 years. But they were picking out people and like talking to them as you were walking through the castle. They're actually interacting more with people now because they're just randomly around the parks. I didn't get to see this one. I really wish I could. But at Epcot, and I was there the day they were doing it, Pooh Bear was sitting out there with a butterfly net, trying to catch butterflies outside of the Imagination Pavilion.
Can I just do like mic drop? Like,
oh yeah, no, the fact that everybody's saying, "Oh, you can't see the characters," wrong. I saw more characters this time than I normally do, and I wasn't I'm gonna go see characters before I had Little Man. Now that I've got, Little Man, characters are a lot more fun.
Right.
But the cavalcades, and I'm going to go into this because we're kind of rolling that way anyway.
Go ahead.
I am going to create a video that's on my list of cavalcades are better than parades. Change my mind.
Why?
They are pop-up. You don't really know when they're coming. All of a sudden you hear this music that is, especially in Epcot, but you hear it in Magic Kingdom as well, that all of a sudden the music changes and it gets a little louder. And then all of a sudden we were eating a pretzel. Actually, my wife was sitting having a pretzel right by by Adventureland. And so we're sitting there and all of a sudden Mira walks by on her horse. I am 5 foot from her. And then every single princess came on a part of their cavalcade, and I was 3 foot from them, and every one of them cooed and awed at Little Man. It was awesome. And Little Man's just sitting in there going, it was fantastic. And the cavalcades lasted about 90 seconds, and they're past you. But you didn't have people lining up for hours on end. And I got to see and be a part of more of the cavalcades because of that.
Mickey Girls agrees with you.
Yeah, I hope, I pray, if somebody from Disney is watching, keep the cavalcades, get rid of the parades.
I've had so many clients, some of which you may be watching. That was one of the reasons they wanted to cancel their trips. And I was like,
way better.
See what this is like. I love the idea of not having to sit on a curb an hour ahead of time, wasting my precious park time, waiting for some parade where I'm just kind of like, fighting with people for a seat. And I love this. But real quick, like on Winnie the Pooh, was there a chance to social distance and take a quick selfie?
Yeah, you could take selfies with that. And they were great about it too. I saw actually Joy was out. I saw Joy at the Imagination Pavilion. So I got to see her there. But yeah, you could grab a selfie. Most people, when that character first came out, a lot of people tried to rush, and the handler would try to remind people to, try to social distance. But as the character was out there a little longer, the social distancing actually kind of just worked itself out.
Just naturally happened.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, next question is snacks. Again, guys, ask your questions. I'm just quick question. I assume snacks are open as normal, but were there any snacks that just weren't available right now?
Honestly, there were, yeah, actually, one of my favorite snacks is the egg rolls. Those were not available. A lot of the like ice cream shops, those were closed. A lot of them.
Like
So
Plaza Inn confectionery type.
no, just like I'm walking around and there's like the Mickey bars and those types of things. Those were just not open.
Okay.
Now, a lot of them were open, or some of them were open. Just some of them are closed.
Just okay. And then one of my big questions is, I actually had this answered to me earlier today by someone else, but I want to double check. Are they still doing any sort of refillable container things, like refillable popcorn, refillable soda?
Yes. Yep, they are doing popcorn, which I didn't really feel safe about, to be honest. So
how is that possible?
I don't know.
You not feeling safe, but if I've got my fingers and my boogers and my popcorn, and then I'm like, refill it.
Yeah, that was the one I went. That was about the only one. But I generally don't do the popcorn anyway. So
I told my daughter no bucket this time. Or maybe we'll just get it in a container. We'll dump it. Maybe that's what they should do. Is they, rather than touching my container, just give me something and I'll put it in my bucket.
Yeah.
Stupid question, but I'm going to ask you: did Dole Whips taste the same, or were Dole Whips, affected by COVID?
No, I still had my sense of taste. It didn't have COVID, so it tasted the same.
All right, Mickey girls, what you got now? My favorite chocolate dipped pineapple wedges and chocolate dipped. What?
Oh.
But you just told me about those, and I was going to go, and now. Sorry, Danielle.
No, we might have to keep or go a little quicker because I'm hearing Little Man in the distance, and I know. I'm sorry. Okay, we've been on an hour already.
Memory Maker. So I assume there's
absolutely have to do it right now.
What?
Memory Maker was amazing. You absolutely need to do Memory Maker right now.
Why?
Because of those pictures that you got to see of Little Man, it was those were from the Memory Maker, and they want to take your picture. They want to give you extra magic. They want to do the pixie dust, everything else. They are fantastic about it.
Was it weird trying to get your picture taken with your mask? Because I know you cannot take them off.
It is weird because you try to smile and then realize it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
You just have to make sure your eyes are open, because that's the one where or wear your sunglasses. Okay. So I had a whole bunch of questions about Memory Maker, but we're going to move on because Nick says, do it. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So quickly on shopping, because it's not a huge one. Was there really obnoxious long lines for Splash Mountain for merchandise, and did that last the whole time? Were
yes,
they limiting, were they limiting people in all the shops or just Batu?
All of the shops.
Do you know how many people it was, or was there?
They won't tell you. They won't tell. Just like Disney won't tell you your main or their numbers. They wouldn't tell you there either.
Okay. Did you feel safe shopping?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you get any of the "We Are Back" merchandise that I saw on Instagram that I now have to own?
I was going to, but unless you knew about it, it didn't. To me, I like something that I can wear all the time. That really didn't make sense for me to get. It was cute though. I thought about it.
I think it's just a t-shirt I want. I think it said something like "Welcome Back Home." I forget what it was. Cute.
There was one that was "Together Again," which was really cute. Yep.
Which, out of context, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it just didn't kind of make sense. So
anything in the merchandise shops that was new or noteworthy? You might not be a shopper, but wife might be.
I'm not a huge shopper, but there was a lot of cute merchandise. A lot of stuff from the flower festival, the garden festival. So, yeah.
Was it discounted?
Nope.
So right now, APs now get 30% off.
30%. Now we did buy some extra stuff for Little Man and whatnot with that 30%. I won't lie.
I can't wait. Except it expires halfway through my trip, so I told my dad, whatever you want, we got to get it the first 2 parks, because the second 2 parks, Mama loses her discount. Okay, moving on from shopping. If anyone has a question, type it in. I'm going to ask a little bit about baby care centers because little man had a few issues. He had a few blowouts, a little diaper explosions. Did you go to the baby care centers to take care of that? I heard they removed a few things, made it kind of more limited in there. Can you explain briefly?
They did. I am going to make a video about it, but I will explain as well. They removed some of the tables. One of them actually they would only let one parent in at a time as well, because of the numbers, trying to make sure. But for the most part, the baby care centers were pretty empty. So they would let me in, or both of us in at the same time. So overall, it was...
I hear him.
Yeah, you can probably hear him in the background. So that means I probably got to go soon. Sorry.
No, I have so many more questions. Okay, so baby care centers are still opening. They're good. Okay.
Yep.
The break areas. So I know Disney has break areas where you can remove your mask.
Yep.
Were there a ton of them? Were they everywhere? Were they constantly filled with people?
Generally 2 per park, not really full, and they are cleaning them constantly. Holy moly, are they cleaning them?
Can you sit there as long as you want? Like, can I just eat my 2-hour-long sucker?
Yeah, if you want to. Yep, they're not kicking you out.
All right. I don't have much more to go. Okay. I'm going to skip this one because this one doesn't really matter. Transportation. I know you stayed off property, but did you ride anything? Monorail, Skyliner, boats, buses, anything?
I did the monorail, honestly, because it was one family per car.
What? You mean
the line was 10 minutes at max. Amazing. They actually put up dividers in between as well to make it more safe.
One per car or one per seating area?
One per seating area.
Wow.
So there's a divider, though, that they've put in between the seating areas.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and it was quick.
Okay, so then I have Disney Springs, which we already kind of talked about it. You said it was a little more lax than Disney World as the parks themselves. Masks. I know you were planning on trying a bunch of different masks, and right before you went, they did say no neck gaiters, no bandana looking things.
Yep.
Did you still try different masks?
I tried a couple different masks, and really the performance, like the wicking material, really didn't work that well. Cotton actually worked really well.
Just cotton? Okay.
Yep.
Did you try a disposable at all?
I did not, actually. My wife had made a bunch, so we mainly went with those.
I'm going to try disposable and the handmade cotton ones and the Disney Store ones just to see. Did you at any point have to swap your mask throughout the day because you got too sweaty, or did you get any rashes?
I did not, actually, but we always had a spare with us. So I swapped out like once just because the mask, it wasn't breathing well, so.
Okay. And do you have to go? So I need to quickly hurry up?
Yeah, I got to get going.
Okay, so last thing, is there anything else that I didn't ask that you need to add? And did you feel safe with Little Man? Little Man is under 2, so he is mask free.
He was maskless. I really did. We actually let him run around a little bit because there were so few people. And we were able to let him do that. And really, I did feel safe. We've been back for 3 days now. Almost 4, and none of us are feeling like we've got symptoms. So
awesome. Well, Little Man apparently needs his daddy.
Yeah, he is a daddy's boy.
That was the majority of my questions. So hopefully, if anyone has any further questions, please ask on this video, and we will get the answer to you if we have it.
Absolutely.
I want to remind everyone to please like this video, subscribe to both my channel, Mermaid Nina Travels, and go to Who Dat Travel with Nick. The link to his channel is down below. Once he gets through all of his videos, he will be uploading all that awesome information. And I go in a few weeks, so I also plan on doing a Q&A live at Disney for anyone who has any questions at that moment in that time. So any other thoughts, Nick, as we part ways for the evening?
Not right now, but as my normal sign off, if we're going to be signing off, is we'll see you real soon.
See you real soon. Okay, so what's new on your channel? Just posting these videos, right?
Just got to be going through those. Did I feel safe and those types of things? The baby care center update. and just an update on really the masks and that type of thing are going to be coming up here real soon.
Awesome. And on my channel, guys, there is a whole bunch of unboxings purely because I am buying stuff, getting ready for my trip. So if you're a little tired of the unboxings, I'm really sorry. Our trip is coming, but the unboxings are helpful. Make sure you watch them. I go over which purse or backpack or fanny pack might work for you. I actually show you what fits inside each one of these popular items. So what? Oh, hold on. I know you got to go. Good. Mickey Girl says the disposable masks worked well. I love that. She also had a Vera Bradley mask that she was going to use. So all good information. So anyway, guys, please subscribe, like, comment, head over to Nick, subscribe, like, and comment. Eventually, we will be swapping channels. So 1 week my channel, 1 week Nick's channel. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But for now, mahalo for watching, guys. Nina, out.
We'll see you real soon.
See you real soon.